not look like you're defeated. You should not look like things are so tough, because that will diminish the enthusiasm. Does that mean you have to lie to yourself and lie to people? No. I'm always amazed that I talk about all our problems. Sometimes I spend most of the evening talking about all our problems, and people say, can't understand why you're so optimistic. But you know what I think it might be? It's admitting the truth where we are. How can you improve things or do something or change it if you don't know where you are? But if you admit the truth that we're in trouble, not because we lack government spending and deficit spending, that we don't, that we need more government. If you admit that, that might be a major hurdle to saying, you know what, we can find our answers now because we know where the problem is.
Yeah. Government's the problem.
Norman Thomas ran for the presidency for 6 times, and I remember a few of those. And of course, he was an avowed socialist. But when he gave up on running for office, he said that he didn't have to anymore because his platform had been accepted, and the people have accepted his idea of national government and moving to national health care and a central bank and income tax, all of those things. So we know what we have, we know what we don't like, we know that a lot of people are upset, we know that we have an opening, and our opening is there, and it's expanding. I think that we live in very, very important times, because things aren't going to get better soon, economically. I think they're going to, you know, the stock market was up today, and people saying, well, the recovery is here. I don't think so. Today, the statistics actually show that unemployment percentages went down. And for some reason, I'm not quite sure I believe that. Because, you know, the government has a few tricks on statistics. I don't know if you ever know that. Yeah. They report statistics the way they want to report them. And they will also skip counting those people who aren't looking for work anymore. So there's a lot of people out there not working. Some private sources say, you know, unemployment could be approaching 20%. That's huge. That may be why so many people are concerned and unhappy rather than looking at the Wall Street numbers. But the bailout is something that, unfortunately, those in charge believe it's really working. I'm absolutely convinced that Bernanke is convinced that he himself personally stopped the Second Great Depression. that is what he is convinced of. And if it isn't completely stopped, he knows what to do. Instead of doubling the money supply, he's going to quadruple the money supply. One of these days, we're going to find out exactly what they're hiding at the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve, as you know, is very, very powerful. And unbelievably, up until recently, hardly anybody talked about it or knew about it. But I have worked on the theory, once getting into politics, and matter of fact, prompted to get into politics, that every so often in the history of a country, the monetary issue becomes the most important issue of the day. I think in many ways that was the case at the time of our revolution. Because we had to run away inflation with continental money. And every time the vote ever came up in our country and in most countries, when the people know they get to vote on money, guess what? They always vote for honest money and not paper money. But we have been lucky, maybe lucky, but at least we've been deceived for a good many years, especially since 1971, that we have become the issuer of the reserve currency of the world. And people were still taking, they still take our money. So therefore, we were able to build the biggest bubble ever. We're continuing to do that to a degree, even though the financial system has come apart. And The financial system now is being barely held together, but the dollar system still operates. And we're relying on printing money. Anytime we want something done, run up a bill, run up the spending, we're always in place of currency. But not only do they have access to the financial institutions, bailing out the corporations, bailing out Wall Street, another area that needs closely investigated, which would come out in a true audit, and that is what they do internationally.
Yeah.
They're involved in with other countries, with other governments, with other central banks, international banking organizations, and everything they do and say are secret. We think we're pretty important in Congress when we pass a TARP bill of $700 billion, but we're pipers compared to the Federal Reserve. I mean, they deal in trillions. And just think of what the founders would react with this idea that all the budgeting should go through the Congress. I mean, they print the money, appropriate the money, spend the money, and they don't even get monitored at all. But it is coming to an end, and that's amazing. And that will be something very important for us. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, how's 1207 going? I told you what the votes are. We're going well. People are alert. And when you ask that, I know what the question is when it's going to be on the floor, when it's going to be voted, when it's going to pass, and when's the audit going to occur. And the truth is, I don't know that answer. The truth is I don't know absolutely what's going to happen in the end. But I also know that it's not all that relevant because the cat's out of the bag. You know now. One thing, can you imagine what would happen in this country right now if the audit is not permitted and they close us out? Then people will really say, what thunder is going on, in this system? But I think what they're likely to do is allow the bill to go through in a package with other things and maybe try to water it down. And then we'll have some stonewalling and not really get to the bottom of things. But we won't give up on that because I feel like I'm